Going.
Still thinking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good morning, humanity.
She wants to keep doing that.
I know. I do. And
of course, it's Good Morning Vietnam reference. If people haven't figured that out yet.
People know. Anybody our age would know that. Like, wouldn't they? I would think.
And once again, the shenanigans. So, here's a shenanigan.
Okay, I'm cold. Ooh.
Here's a shenanigan. Ooh. This piece of curtain here, this wrinkle was out of place right here. So we have to adjust it just.
Well, can I have more coffee?
Well, yeah. So I was up a little bit.
I need to warm up. It's coffee time with Kev and Ava. Yes, it is. And okay.
Okay, the rest is mine.
Okay.
Just put that on the table right now.
Let's give it a couple minutes for it to populate a little bit.
Why?
Well,
it's all being recorded.
I know, but if you give it a couple minutes, then people will see
it's Saturday. People are sleeping in, except for us, of course. Weird. So up an extra half hour early.
We were extra early today.
But whatever, it gave us time to figure out these shenanigans here.
Oh, Kevin.
It's funny. I'm just sitting here, just drinking coffee, and she's like messing with the computer, and she keeps asking me if I'm ready, like continuously. Are you ready? Are you ready? Mess. Are you ready? Mess.
I might need to put my socks on.
Why don't you just put your sweater on?
Well, the one person who is listening, please let us know if the sound is not.
The mic is fine.
And I do believe, thank you. And I do believe that the lighting is good today and we don't have any problems. We actually had someone offer to buy us a camera.
Well, what was actually happening? So the camera's fine on the computer, so you can save your money. Buy us a coffee at some point. Yeah. That's fine. But the window beside me here, this way, I just hung a black thing, so there wasn't any light washout.
Yeah, there was light, too much light coming in.
So it looked like it was the camera issue, but
it was like the halo effect, you know.
And I know I get that all the time.
She's like, please let me buy you a camera. It's very nice of her to offer.
Totally.
Yeah. See, I told you some people will care about whether or not the video is decent quality or not. Okay. So anyway, what are we talking about today?
Oh, it's just some ideas that have had, and this is what happens. We're just driving around, or if we're driving to town, we just start chatting about shit and
dream up all these ideas,
trying to figure stuff out, and that's
what we do.
The nature of our conversation.
So yesterday we drove to town, so we got to talk about stuff on the trip. Yeah.
And what was the theme of the conversation was basically, because we need to figure out solutions, right?
Yeah.
And we need to get everybody else to help with those solutions too. So I know that I'm not the first one or will be the last one to think about any of this stuff.
The sound is okay. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it.
So I'm sure if I were to say or ask everybody here, are you happy with government? What a question. Can you imagine that? I know that every single one of you will say no. I know that. The next question is, do you want something better or different? The answer will always be yes.
Then the next question would be, well, do you have any ideas?
Why don't we do something about that?
Do you have
because
any ideas?
When we look at the idea of government,
the word
actually breaks down
means control.
Control.
Mind.
Ment is mind. Control mind.
Yeah, like it's quite interesting how it's right there in front of us, right in our language.
Entertainment and train mind.
Yeah.
So we know that language has been used to manipulate, coerce, control,
manipulate
humanity for a long time.
Very much so.
We are the ones in the end, though, that give the words meaning.
This is Kevin's philosophy.
No, but we do.
Well, we give it its power as well.
Right.
Really.
When we comply, to, do you know what mandate is? You know the word mandate? You know what that actually means? A suggestion. That's fucking all it is. It's a suggestion. But
it sounds so powerful and
sounds so ominous.
So ominous, like mandate, like that's like you have to do that. It's like actually mandatory. No, you don't.
Suggestions.
Let's face it, Kevin. That's why we were able to get away with what we did during the pandemic, because it's a fake pandemic. We will not give it its due. But that's why we were able to. Well, meaning we did not follow the mandates because we knew mandates were just guidelines. They were not.
They're just
laws.
Suggestions.
They
folks.
were not
just suggestions. That's it.
You didn't absolutely have to do it, or else.
The other thing that's very interesting about this scenario is that. So I'm going to jump a little bit into, I don't want to say common law, but it's an understanding of the way things have been designed in society to control everybody. And it's only through our consent to all of that.
Okay. Just forgive me for a second. I think I have to put my socks on.
It's only in our consent to all of that it becomes real and has the, I want to say, power over us. That it does, and that is that we're all corporations.
Oh, you're gonna go there.
Well, just initially, because we have to understand the nature of what's been done here. So we, as living men and women, are not the piece of paper that says that I am a dead legal fiction. So the government creates this. That's why your birth certificate is never the same date as your birth.
Lost people.
Well, it's okay. We'll come back.
We know it's Saturday.
It's Saturday, I understand.
Yeah. It's a pretty hefty topic.
It's a hefty topic, but this is how they've been able to get away with controlling everybody. Is that when you identify, you make that connection between that piece of paper or that government issued ID or whatever, then you are then acting as a representative of that dead legal corporate fiction in order to be able to contract with the government. Dead legal corporate, because it's all about corporations and all about contracts.
It all comes down to contracts.
So the moment we take that away or we say, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Then technically we're free. So, but the issue right now is that how do we move between one idea and the other, because this is about straddling the line right now. So we're working on some solutions.
What does that mean, straddling the line right now? Let's be clear about that.
Well, the clarity comes in the idea that we know where we're at, and we know, and a lot of people know,
we know what's wrong,
how we got here, right? We got, like, and we can sit and talk about what's wrong with the system. The system is designed exactly perfectly and has been working perfectly
for them. It's a great system.
It's absolute brilliance, and you have to give credit where credit is due. Totally. And spectacularly played
for them.
But that's the point, is that we've all been played.
Yeah.
To believe that this is the way we have to do things. Well, we don't have to do them that way.
No, we've been led to believe we have to.
Of course.
Yeah.
So do you know that you don't own your vehicle? You don't. Or your house or anything. So, I mean, technically the whole WEF
We already don't own it.
We already don't own it.
Yeah.
The moment you register something for a license for it, is you're passing over the ownership of that item to the dead legal government corporation. And then you're essentially, your name is on it because you're now the caretaker of that item. Which is, to me, it absolutely, when you think about this in this terms, it's fucking bullshit. Because I paid money for said item, then that item, it becomes personal property. But if it's an item that I have to register for me to stay in the legal side or just not draw attention, or whatever you want to call it, then you're passing over, you're relinquishing ownership to the dead corporate legal fiction of government. And you're saying that you're agreeing to their terms of service.
You're contracting with them, and you don't realize that's what you're doing.
You're doing it.
Yeah, and they're okay with you not realizing that.
100%.
That's what you're
So
doing.
there's no informed consent here at all.
We just want to be clear, though. We're not sitting here just bashing government or whatever, because there are good people who work for the government, and
there are good people that are caught up in a very crappy system,
right? So there's lots of great people who work for the government and don't even realize that the government is a nefarious entity. I mean, they just don't know. Right?
So anyway, so all of that aside,
yeah,
right? This is just the reality of the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
Driver's licenses, birth certificates, marriage license.
Oh, if I were to do it all over again. Why would you
need to get a license to get married to someone that you love? Why?
If you and I were to do it over again, we never would have gotten that.
No friggin' way.
Like, it's just so silly when you think
about
it now. It's
this
like,
from
why
that
do we
perspective.
Need a license
what is a marriage?
Marriage.
A marriage is joining.
That's a spiritual endeavor.
Joining of two people, man and a woman or otherwise. It's the joining. This is when you ask for a license, marriage license, you're asking the slave master to grant you permission.
It's a yucky way of looking at it, but it's
to
true.
Join your corporation to someone else's corporation.
Yeah.
So now what you're doing is you're saying these two corporations are now merging.
And that's really why you need the license.
And it's all about tax and money in the end for them.
It is.
This is what happens. So think about that. That's why. Why do we have to ask permission? So when you register a business, think about this, and from this whole idea of control. When you register a business, say Joe Blows Plumbing. Joe is asking permission from the slave master
to blow your pipes. Sorry.
Joe is asking permission of the slave master to start another corporation.
Sorry.
That he is going to manage. But guess what? The slave master is going to say, yeah, so here's a number, right? So this is your new number under the system. And guess what else? You, Mr. Joe, are going to be the bill collector for us, the government.
Yeah.
You're going to be the bill, and you're agreeing to be the bill collector by us giving you this number and registering your corporation that you want to do, just so you could ply your craft, make some money to feed your family, go on some trips, whatever.
Yeah.
You're asking the slave master to be able to better your life, but you're also committing through non-consent, right? Or you're committing your uninformed consent, sorry. Yeah. You're committing to being the tax collector for them.
See, the thing is that here's what it comes down to. Our silence is our consent.
Right.
So uninformed or otherwise, whatever, it doesn't matter. If we don't say anything, good morning. That's someone in the group because I can't see who it actually is. But our silence is our consent. So they are quite fine with it being that way, right? They truly are. They don't.
And the herd will police itself because why? Think about the last 4 years, folks.
To do that.
The mandate was for masks. The suggestion was for masks. Next thing you know, if you're not wearing the mask, everybody else,
you're being told that you're killing grandma.
You're killing grandma.
Which kind of sucks.
Right? Sucks. Same with the jab, same with fill in the blank.
It's just not true.
So,
yeah.
And it's bullshit. Okay.
Well, thank you for establishing that, Mr. Kevin.
It is. It's absolute crap.
It's bullshit.
So
Kevin has spoken.
So think now to the idea of a scenario. What can we do differently? What can we create? If we were to create a system or a series of systems that end up being more in tune with freedom,
more
aligned with people's values,
yes,
not done by agenda, unless the agenda is freedom.
Yeah, unless the agenda is for the benefit of humanity. That's a little different.
What would we do? How would we do it?
And the reason we're actually saying this is because we want to put it out to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are genuinely asking our viewers for your opinion on this.
Like, I have some of my own ideas.
Oh, we've talked
and
about
like
this
again, it's
ad
not
nauseum
it's
for
not
years.
something that's probably ever been like people have talked about this forever. I'm not the first one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it here. And more will come after me.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's fine. So what about this? We know. Has anyone ever thought, how is it?
I don't know how to put you in the video. When I learn how to put people into the video, like to bring them in, I will probably start doing that. But I really don't know how to do that yet. So just bear with me.
But just think about this.
Yeah, but you can type it. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. And now, of course, I lost my train of thought because we're talking about videos.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry. All right. But what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I lost a neuron, but it'll come back.
Good thing they come back.
We need to think about this.
There was a time they didn't believe that they grew back, but they actually do.
Okay. We need to think about this because we are the ones that have to come up with solutions. And I know there are a lot of people out there that have solutions and have tried them and they've worked and they need to share them. And we need more people to understand these solutions as we make this shift into something different. Oh, this is what I was going to say. So the neuron came back.
The neuron came back.
Has anyone ever wondered why the control mind people, and I say that meaning governments, their expertise is creating more laws? Has anyone ever, have you ever heard? I know that there's sometimes the odd time something gets repealed, but
yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
My guess is that repealing of whatever act or whatever it is, resolution, blah, 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 gets rolled into something else. So it's hidden somewhere else.
Yeah.
Case in point, the U.S. budget, right? The U.S. budget is 5,000 pages.
I agree with you. We can't control government, and we're not suggesting that we
Not at all.
Not at all.
The thing is that we know that this old system is dying.
We're honestly, in a nutshell, here's what we're suggesting. Let government do their thing. Like, I don't care. And there's probably lots of people who are okay with just doing what government tells them to do and continuing in that system. And I believe, personally, if people are, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep being in that system. Keep living in that way because that's your choice. If you're choosing that, go for it. Right? What we're suggesting is there's a different way. There can be a different way.
And we can come up with that way, right?
Yes. And we can be the designers of that way because we're at the beginning stages of this, right? We're the ones suggesting. No, I don't mean Kevin and I. I mean, there's a whole lot of people that want this new way of life, this new system, this new,
So what if?
Yeah.
What if? And I'm just using this as a.
I agree. Problem is fear, very much so.
Yeah. So when you have a monopoly on force, you're able to govern by fear of force.
That's right. Threat.
Fear of repercussions.
That's right.
When we take a step back from the system and we say, no, we're not that system, and I'm not that birth certificate or passport or piece of paper that they want me to think that I am, then can we create something different? So
they lose power over
why
us.
are we asking the slave master for permission to do anything?
When you frame it that way, it just feels icky.
Just stop abusing me just a little bit less.
A little bit less. Just a little bit.
You know what? No. Just we're done.
Yeah.
Enough.
So our commenter here.
It's probably Eric.
It might be Eric, yeah, I'm not sure. But I agree. Let's start designing it. And this is what we're proposing, right? This is what we're putting out there.
So what
right
if
now.
what if the people, like
it's already
us,
being started,
we the people, put pressure? Now, the thing is I have to always think about the not recreating the wheel.
Yeah.
And is there a way that we can harness the power of what's already here? And I use that loosely because we do understand that there are people that are, I want to say, maybe stuck within government, that know that something's desperately wrong, that want to do something different, or they've been disillusioned by being in that environment, thinking that they want to get in to help make change, and so on and so forth. So what if we the people demanded that government take the pay cut that they deserve?
Okay, so here's one of Kevin's suggestions.
My solution
is one of his solutions.
And I don't know how much these idiots in Ottawa get paid, but I'm guessing it's probably a shit ton of money.
Hundreds of thousands. It's
maybe $250,000, like whatever.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
What if they got pay cut down to 40 or 50 grand, like the rest of us? And then they got bonuses for removing laws and
irrelevant laws,
mandates, and all that sort of stuff, and tax cuts, etc., that reduce the control level. And I'm just saying this as a what if. Like, what if, right? We were able to do that. So you know what? Government's not serving the people anymore. You're using our money against us, right? You're using our money to govern by agenda, and it's not agenda, people-driven agenda.
No, it's not.
It's multinational globalists, unelected people's agendas.
Technocrats.
Right?
Yeah.
So what if we were to say that as an initial proposal? Meanwhile, we're creating something else, because we're now juggling things in terms of people power.
See, what you're suggesting right there, that alone is a very big ask, because you're suggesting that people actually reclaim their own personal power, because that's really what would be required in order for this to even be happening.
No, and I agree that this idea would not go anywhere, because I don't work for the government.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. But what I do know is that if the idea is in the minds of many.
Yeah. We're just planting seeds right now.
What if?
Yeah.
What if? We're going to create something new anyway. So
unless you work for the government, I would like to have clarity on that, because then it is not needed to discuss. No, I don't. I disagree with that, actually. That's where we will disagree on that, because is to arrest. Yeah. See, I don't believe
that day's coming.
I can't move forward.
If it's not here already.
Let me say this. Yeah. I can't move forward with a belief in mind that unless I'm a member of the current government as it currently is, that I can't make any change. That's paralyzing. And I don't know.
But we do know that the system's designed to protect itself. We get it.
Yeah, we get that
100%.
System. That's why we're not saying
no.
There's no point for us to think that we're going to somehow get in there and we're going to dismantle that system, or we're going to change that system from within. It's a great concept.
We have no delusion about that.
I know. And it would be great. It would be awesome if we thought that was possible and we could make that happen. But we don't believe that for a second that that's what's necessary. That's why we're suggesting that let that system do what it's going to do. Let it do what it's going to do.
I'm just saying
it's
what if.
Taking care of itself.
I'm just saying. That's just all I'm doing is just what if.
Yeah.
Right? When we can banter back and forth about the validity of that. to me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was just a what if scenario from yesterday. It's like, what if we, the people, can say, you know what? No. But what if also, too, we were to say, I'm no longer going to be a bill collector for you morons because you have proven your incompetence in managing what you've already been given.
Yeah.
So why do we have debt? Who are we indebted to? None of this makes any sense. No. None of it. Oh, but we're going to put more tax on. Now we're going to have an inheritance tax, and we're going to have capital gains taxes goes to 100% instead of the stupid 50% that it's now. So we have to start thinking. We know where we came from. We know where we're at in terms of current reality in this.
But this is part
matrix,
of the issue, though, Kev. Not a lot of people actually truly know where we came from because we've been fed a lie. We've been fed so many lies that even our history is not real. So I mean, it's just So this person here is suggesting that it's a 10-year process, potentially. I'm not sure where you get that number.
They've had hundreds of years to get this right deal with us. So, okay.
First thing is removing criminals. Well, yes. I mean, wouldn't that be great?
And people are trying to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there are those movements happening.
But here again, you're asking the system. You're asking the system
to govern itself, or
to try and govern itself and hold people within the system accountable.
You're asking the system, a nefarious, dishonest system, to be honest.
So this is part
tough,
of this is why we look at these scenarios.
Yeah.
And we say, is that realistic? Is it realistic to be able to adjust or repurpose or make changes to? And honestly, no, I don't think it is.
So this person is suggesting citizen arrest. You know what? It's even written in the Constitution, apparently. Well, we don't have a Constitution. We have
there's a Bill of Rights. There's a bunch of documents that look really fine.
That are similar to like a Constitution in the States. But it actually supposedly is in writing that if a government is... I don't even
fails stops acting in the best interest of the people.
Yeah, that the people
can opt to replace it.
So, but there's no instructions on how that works or how that is.
Anyway, this is a super heavy subject, and we're not going to solve it today without. Absolutely, we're not going to solve it. I'm just like, but what if? The idea here, though,
is in Canada we are a monarchy. That is true.
Yeah,
we are governed by monarchy.
Canada's constitution has never been ratified, so you know.
Yeah, we know that.
Right, the Quebec, there was a clause in it Quebec didn't like, so it was either all signatures or none, and it never came to pass.
But isn't it funny that these things are there and people think that they're there? Like people actually have been led to believe that we have.
Like the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's but also not ratified.
It's never been ratified, so it's sort of like, yes, you're right. Locally might just be.
I believe that the local solution is the best solution because in the end, the power comes down to the municipality to say. So here's my thought this morning as I was sitting on the couch, and I thought, well, we live in Northwestern Ontario. There has been underlying debate for decades that I can remember as to whether or not Northwestern Ontario should separate from Ontario and be part of Manitoba because we're only 8 hours from Manitoba or from Winnipeg.
Don't worry about your typos. We're just happy to see you engaged, right? We're really
so think about this, and the logic here is that we're closer to that. We're more geographically. It makes more geographic sense. And the other big complaint was that all these morons down in Toronto, and I'm saying this generally.
Right? He's just generally saying that they're all morons.
No, but they've proven their incompetence, especially in the last 3 or 4 years. Absolutely. They've proven their incompetence. And they've proven their allegiances. And it ain't to us.
No, it's not to us. That's quite
It's to friggin' Klaus Engel Schwab and company. So we have to get our heads around this idea.
Oh, this person's in Toronto. It's probably.
But think about this: is that Toronto is the mini Queen's Park, or whatever they want to call it. This is the seat of controlling mind, government for this entire province, how on earth do they truly know what is good for what goes on up in here?
Because it's completely
this has been, so they pass laws that's good for them down there.
Yeah. But
right?
It makes no sense
but
for
it
someone
makes zero sense
who
up here.
lives more remote, right? A little more
it makes
isolated,
no sense.
You know.
So
it's arrogance, though, that allows them to think that they 100%. Can make decisions like that.
But this is why there was that debate. Like, maybe we should just say, we're going to be part of Manitoba, and that's the end of it. But why do we then think that some unelected official somewhere else on the planet
has to make those decisions for us?
It's good that they are making decisions and creating ideas and policies, etc., to move the entire world into a different space.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is what they're attempting to do right now, is with the centralized government, right? With this new world order or whatever, global reset, whatever. They want more centralized power, right? Although it's
no different than the World Health Organization saying we want ultimate control over every single country's pandemic future.
Yeah.
Pandemic responses. So,
but then they had to drop that because
they know
don't
they couldn't
have
afford
the ability
enforce it.
to enforce it. So
there's a lot of things going on here, and I want to start people into this idea of thinking of solutions for current realities, and then also thinking about how would we just create something. If we just said, here's where we're going, and we just sort of stop it right there, what will we do instead?
Yeah. What would we do instead? And see, the cool thing is as human beings, we are actually super creative beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the capacity to be creative. It seems from everything that we've learned and everything we've come to understand that these controllers, ultimate controllers, whomever they may be, and we won't go there today necessarily, but they don't seem to have the capacity to be able to create the way that a human being truly does. And so we have that capacity to do that. And I say, let's put it to work. Let's put it to work. Let's put it to practice. Let's be the creative geniuses that we are. And let's take control over our personal selves, like over ourselves, over our families, let's be in charge.
And here, right, exactly,
of
like
ourselves.
We're talking, the chat's rolling here, and who decided to make it rain?
Yeah.
Brilliant question. Yeah. Absolute brilliant question, because we need to understand who is making the decisions to put shit in the airplanes, right, and spray over us. Yeah. And if anyone thinks that they're not chemicals up in there that's coming out the arse end of an airplane, right, you need to get informed, and you need to get informed fast, because what it's doing is it's poisoning our atmosphere, and then that shit lands on the ground. So poisoning our environment that we exist in. Not to mention all the food, like I said, whole big discussion. So who decided that?
Yeah.
Super good question.
Were you asked?
Were you asked that you, please chemtrail me? Were you asked? No, nobody was asked. Nobody
weren't asked if we wanted to be chemtrailed to control the weather, or we know they have other reasons, but we weren't asked that. I was never asked that. Did I get to vote on that?
No.
I never.
And it's an interesting thing, because when we watched a super good Greg Braden interview a couple of days ago.
Oh my God!
Everyone
Maybe I should put it. I could put it in the comment section, actually.
Yeah, and there's a line. There's actually a line from Jurassic Park.
Oops.
There's a line from Jurassic Park that says,
"Oh, sorry. Okay,
we're just going to get the link for this.
We'll get the link put in, because it's really, really important. Yeah, it's so important. This was a 2-hour and 20-minute interview,
and that's only the first half. The other half's coming out this week.
That was the first half, and Greg Braden did a phenomenal job.
But there's a line. There's a line from, because people
the links in there.
People always want to move forward. People want to strive for something. And they're always asking, what if we could do that?
Yeah.
And there's a line from Jurassic Park that Greg Braden actually brought up in this interview. He didn't reference the movie, but I remember it clearly. Jeff Goldblum's character, he says, everyone was so caught up in whether or not they could.
Yeah.
No one stopped to answer or ask whether or not we should.
That's right.
So this is now we have to switch. We have to switch our way of thinking.
Yeah.
And yes, could we do that? Let's try. But should we? But should we? So
we can't have people go to the schools as they currently are and educate the teachers about biology, because the whole education system's captured.
That's all part of the control mechanism.
It's all part of the control mechanism.
There's a great book out there called The Secret
agenda.
Underground History of American Education. You can look it up.
Yeah.
It's an older book. And Rockefeller said, I don't need a nation of thinkers. I need a nation of workers.
Yeah.
And that's what kicked it off, man. That's what kicked everything off.
Okay, if you believe that we can go to schools and like directly go to schools and educate people on this information, then I would say you put in the comment section how. How can you possibly do that when the education system is controlled by these same systems, right, that are running our government, our healthcare?
Completely captured. Now, again, we're not saying that all teachers are bad.
No,
because there are teachers that are passionate. Think about this too, is that over the last several years, there have been many teachers, actually, many healthcare professionals that have said, you know what, see you later, because I don't believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of them.
Yeah.
So maybe now is the time where we need to bring all of these people that have been disillusioned by this system and said no to it.
Yeah.
And now is the time to bring everybody that has those skills and that passion for sharing of knowledge and drawing out from within the innate skills and passions of someone that's receiving knowledge.
Use that
to create something new.
To create a whole new system.
Let's do it.
That actually works for the people, right?
Right. We have to rethink all of these things.
We really do. See, we see where, if you just look at education, right? Like, let's look at the education system. What do people tend to do who realize that it's captured, right? That SOGI agenda is really playing out in the education system. It's everywhere, but my God, in Canada, it's really bad.
Are you checking your phone for comments and stuff?
I'm not. I probably should be, but I think that
we'll try and get more sorted here, because it's a big thing to manage.
It is,
and we do want to acknowledge people, and I think now, and there was a comment about getting physical. Yes, we have to actually physically do this. This is about us meeting in person. This is about us thinking out this idea of what can we do instead and creating this. Yes, you cannot create in Meta. Absolutely, I 100% agree. Meta is just an illusion.
Yeah.
We have to do this, physically have to do this. And if there are people within educational systems and financial systems and health systems that feel that they're just always constantly bucking up against the policy or the rules or whatever, my guess is there's a huge values conflict within you, right? And your values know that there's something desperately wrong.
Okay, so here's other comments.
So let's keep doing it. Let's
that we're
get
not
together.
Seeing on here.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn it! I don't know why we're not seeing them on here.
Yeah, for some reason they're not.
We'll get this sorted out. Please bear with us as we learn how to use StreamYard.
This is only number 4.
Yeah, like this is all new to us, but of course, Dana is saying how much she loves us and we're the smartest people on the planet. I don't think we're the smartest people on the planet, but thank you for that. That's very kind. So we actually do have other people watching. Whatever you're seeing here is very limited.
Yeah.
So
serve them personally. Group, yes.
Maybe.
There are movements. There are groups of people around the country and around the world that are actually doing this. So this is part of the solution. It's not the solution. It's part of the solution.
Yes.
And doing that, serving teachers and doctors and nurses and school boards and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Is a way to help shift thought.
Yeah.
Because if someone gets a notice of liability, if someone gets a notice that they're being charged with a crime, then guess what it does up here? Oh my goodness, that was a crime? I didn't know. And then that starts a discussion, or it starts another process where people can actually start to think in a different way. Because a lot of times, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, people were coerced by holding a job over the head or something in order to behave the way the system wanted them to behave.
Yeah.
And I would love nothing better than to make the owner of the pet stores in Thunder Bay hyper aware of the fact.
Going back to that.
No, but hyper aware of the fact that how they directed their staff to behave towards their customers.
It was terrible.
Was an illegal decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I honestly, I'll say this up front, I don't know if I have the bandwidth right now to be able to push that kind of thing forward, but maybe someone that they know will see this and mention something to them, because for a 16 or 17-year-old minimum wage worker to be the Nazi at the death camp in terms of behavior is absolutely disgusting and despicable.
Yeah, it's true. It was really bad. But you know what? This is historically, though, this is part of human nature as well, right? Mm-hmm. This is human psychology. They know this.
They know that.
That, when the persecuted become the persecutors, right? The oppressed become the oppressors when they're in a place, when they're finally in a position of power, or what have you, or they just take it. But the thing is that that's part of human psychology. And we understand that, right? And we also understand the level of brainwashing that has been going on for hundreds of years. I mean, thousands probably. But I mean, we understand all that, right? And that's why we know we're up against so much. Like the education system, like I agree with you.
Well,
if we could go into that education system and make a difference, that would be wonderful. But here's what we've seen happen, especially over these last few years during the pandemic, is people just removed their children from the education system. They recognized it was a huge animal. They had fought with the principals and the administrators and the board of trustees or whatever they're called. They're called whatever they're called, the school boards, right? They fought with all those people and got absolutely nowhere, right? So they pulled their kids out and they started homeschooling and unschooling and creating education pods and getting creative, really, and doing it on their own, because they recognized their children would be far better off outside that system, learning how to develop their skills and their innate gifts and things like that, building in ways and learning in ways that they never ever would get in the education system, let's face it, but minus all of that other crap, which is the SOGI agenda, right? Which is
all of this
sexual, what's that called?
Sexual orientation and gender ideology.
And gender ideology, which is a UN agenda, right, for the world, So
why are we doing that?
That we are well bought into in Canada.
But why?
Let me tell you.
Why?
Yeah.
For what purpose? This is the tail wagging the fucking dog idea.
Yeah.
Right? There's maybe in the 70s or the 80s or whatever, people of different sexual orientation used to get targeted and beat up and whatever.
You're right. It does destroy families.
It does.
It
no
has
different than the Civil War.
It's
destroyed. Cut it right down the center.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the gender ideology and the SOGI stuff, like it has created so much conflict inside families. And I do know too that parents who have split up, right? You have one parent who's totally for that agenda, and then you have the other parent who's aware that it's a nefarious agenda and they don't want their children learning it, and then they're fighting and they're using it against each other in court situations with their custody battles. And then you have a whole justice system, which includes the family court system, that is very, very, very entrained with these ideologies as well. So how do you win inside a system that has been designed to screw people over ultimately who don't agree with it, right? How do you win inside that system?
So the point is we know the system is completely captured, right? And the system's designed to protect itself and everybody in there that supports the system.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. I think is if we just create something new and we start doing things and it becomes successful, and because we have the support of everyone that's part of that idea, then what will end up happening is people will go,
what are they doing over there?
What's happening over there? I need to find out what's going on over there.
Yeah. They seem to be thriving. They seem to be happy. They seem to be healthy. They say whatever, right? It may end up being.
So I have no idea.
It's about setting the example. Like, for instance, we can talk all we want. Even as parents, right? We do this. And my son, here's a call out to my son. And I doubt he's even watching this because he wouldn't be. But still, he's correct. When he would call me out and say, Mom, don't tell me, show me. Right? Don't preach this to me. Don't teach me about this. Show me by doing it. And it was like,
so we know
there's so much truth in that.
And this is the point.
There's so much truth
we
in that.
know, and a lot of people know.
Yeah.
What tyranny looks like, sounds like, and feels like.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
The question is, what do we want instead? So now is the time, we believe, to be able to get in there and make something new so that when the shit crumbles, which is happening right now, and more people are waking up to their shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know the criminals that are in charge, and it is criminal. It's just a fact. It is criminal.
Yeah.
On all scales. But even that this whole criminal thing has to be rethought, because we even need to look at this idea of natural law and just the concept of doing no harm. The concept, just the thought, do no harm. Those 3 words, do no harm.
That satisfies a lot of
Think about it.
Scenarios.
Do no harm. How do we move forward with an idea of doing no harm? And we just do it over there. Let's go over there and we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. So can we bring people from all over the planet into the idea of doing no harm, respect for themselves, respect for other people, respect for the environment, etc. So we need to move this conversation into a personal, face-to-face group discussion meeting.
Yeah.
So we're looking at trying to do this, or we will be doing this. I will say that.
Yes.
We want to be able to bring people forward together to create.
Yep. That's right. Non-Ontario, as we don't get the proper recognition up here.
See? Exactly.
That's someone who lives in Northwestern
Yeah.
Ontario.
Right.
Yeah. Love you too, Dana.
Dana, we need to chat. We need to chat like ASAP. So get ready. We're calling you when we're done here, just like the way you were doing it.
Okay, so now we at least see that there's a whole other group of people that are commenting here that we're not seeing on the main page. So that's okay. It's just good to know. It's good to know. So, okay. You can do your village. Well, This is the thing. That's right.
We just need to start. And a lot of people are in the process of starting. Yeah. So let's see if we can't start the discussion. Because my goal right here on this planet, my mission is to bring these groups together, have the discussion that is the most critical, and that is what is our common bond? What is the common bond between everybody?
Yeah.
Right? There's 2 things. We're all human.
It's Dari that's making all these comments. Thank
you,
Dari.
We're all human, and B, we've all been slaves. Yeah. So if we can agree on that, let's agree on that first. And then we have the discussion of how can we move ourselves into the idea of humanity. What does humanity mean for us? What does it mean to us?
Yeah.
As an individual, as a couple, as a family, as a neighborhood.
I agree with you, Dari. I think one of the biggest issues, honestly, is we don't even know who we are, right? We aren't clear on what we would want instead. And I think that is really the problem. You keep recreating the same scenarios over and over and over again with your ignorance. Like, we've done this, okay? This is what we've done, right? And now we're going, okay, we acknowledge we've been ignorant, we have screwed up, right? We've allowed these things to happen. And now we're going, we don't want this anymore, right? We don't want this anymore. So we know we don't want that anymore. But part of manifesting and creating something new is to get really damn clear about what you do want. Because if you don't have if you don't have that clearer picture, that vision to focus on, you don't know where the hell you're going, right? So we need to get clear.
We can drive
what we want instead.
From the East Coast to the West Coast. We have an idea of where we're going to go, where we want to go.
Yeah.
But we don't have to see every kilometer of the trip.
Yeah.
We just know that we need to start moving in that direction, and then we'll get there.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Yeah.
But let's 100% do that. We want to create not only the website portal for people to be able to do this as a large group in earnest, but we also want to be able to help people come together locally and have meaningful discussions about how to move forward in creating or getting to where we think we want to go. Because we can have 2,000 people as a group. Think about the trucker convoy and all of that sort of stuff. The decision was made, we're going to go there. Then all of a sudden everybody said, okay, I know we're going there. I'm going to be part of the journey.
Yeah.
And you didn't need to see, you had no idea as that journey started what was going to occur between the departure point, wherever that was for you, and the end. Nobody knew.
Nope.
But they said, we're going to do this because it's important. And lo and behold, we saw it unfold. But no one knew when they hit the ground here in Thunder Bay that there was going to be 150,000 donated pierogies from a local pierogi place, or this oodles of support, people coming in and helping to organize and making sure everybody had their needs met, etc. And this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And maybe we as humans, men and women, can finally come together and say, there's a chemtrail comment, and the thing is that this behavior is no longer acceptable here. So we know through some of our connections and circles is that there's a lot of things happening on the upper end of things.
Yeah.
We're talking higher than government.
Yeah. Because there is a higher than government.
Well, there is.
Most, I would
Plain
say,
and simple.
people watching here.
And there's even higher than that. And then there's that, and then there's higher than that. So when we're not talking, well.
No, here's the thing. No, I'm going to say this. We're going to try to keep it simple as possible, okay? But the reality is this. I don't care if you like him or not, but David Icke has been speaking this stuff for 30 some plus years, right? And one thing
this isn't about faith.
This isn't about faith.
This is not about faith.
No,
this isn't about
gotta go way beyond
preaching
faith.
some God. Nothing.
No.
Not a thing like that.
That's
Please.
Right. No, that's what she's saying.
I cannot go on faith.
Saying.
You want to see faith?
No.
Right? You want to put faith in something? Go look in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. Go look in the mirror, because that's where the solution is, and it always has been. Put your faith in yourself, right? As opposed to something else.
Yeah.
Right? And we get little bits of information along our journey.
Yeah.
That help us understand more of what's going on so that we can make different decisions. And some of those different bits of information come from within. Sometimes they come from without.
Yep.
Or from outside.
Yeah. So here, the reality, but I just want to put this out there.
Yep.
Okay. Not to get into this topic right now, because it's just gonna be too much. But the thing is that we are acknowledging, Kevin and I are acknowledging, that this goes way beyond humanity. Okay. This goes way beyond the planet Earth, probably. But we're not claiming to be experts. We're not claiming to have all the answers or know all the facts. Okay. But me personally, being this intuitive person that I am, I go with what I feel. And if something doesn't resonate with me, I just go, yeah, no, there's something's off about that. I don't maybe know what it is, but I know that something's off about that. And that's why earlier we suggested watching that interview that I posted in the comments here that just got released this week with Greg Braden on the, I'll tell you right now what it was. It was on Andre Duquam's.
He was the interviewer.
Yeah, he was the interviewer. It was called The Spiritual Battle for Our Humanity, Transhumanism, DNA, AI, and Our Forgotten Past. And it was just released 4 days ago, part 1. And it is, like I said, I put it in the comment section. Hopefully you guys can see it. And I will put it up in the specific groups and pages on Facebook as well. I'll post it again in the comments. But I really think he's on to something when he talks about the things that he does. I almost got the feeling, honestly, with Greg, and we haven't watched a full interview of his. I don't know if we ever have, if it may be 10, 12 years ago or something, but I almost got the feeling that he was offloading everything possible inside this interview so that he could get it all out. It was almost like there was a sense of urgency, which there is a sense of urgency. This is an urgent matter to save humanity from going down a really potentially destructive path, let's face it. But I really got the sense from him in particular during that interview that he was trying to get everything out possible that he could, that he knows, that he has come to know, that he, that he has seen proof of, evidence of, and firsthand, right? And he was trying to get it all out there so that then people could take that information, disseminate, integrate it, really dive into it themselves and maybe start taking action, right? Because, yeah. To me, the entire interview
it was very well done. The information was quite digestible,
and it was.
But here's the thing:
it was touching on lots and lots of different areas.
These are what if moments, folks.
Yeah.
Even this interview is a what if.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking that our history started 5,000 years ago,
no.
Guess what?
No.
You have to think about what if. And I've asked this of people too, especially the people that I know that are like deep emotional, Christian values and this sort of thing is a what if.
You grew up with lots of that.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. And the point is that
I grew up.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But what if the stories and the ideas, and I'm not saying it's all bad.
No.
Please.
No.
Please,
no.
Please don't read that into there.
No.
But what if, and we have to ask this of ourselves as humans moving forward here, because what if everything that we have been led to believe, and I say that very specifically and intentionally.
Yeah.
Because we have been led to believe things. We've been led to believe that COVID was a real virus. Led to believe. What if everything we have been led to believe is inverted or is a lie?
Yeah.
Like, gnaw on that for a while. What if? Ask yourself the what if questions.
Yeah.
Because when we start asking ourselves what if questions, that opens us up to new ideas, right? And a desire to seek truth and knowledge. And what's happening right now, especially within Canada, is a push by the control mind people to destroy anything that says different than what they want you to believe. And this is exactly what happened in the 3rd and 4th century AD. Emperor Constantine and Council Nicaea, after they decided which
Bibles they wanted, or
which books
stories
they wanted in the Christian Bible.
Yeah.
and I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it.
You read that book years ago.
Yeah,
right?
it's called The Pagan Christ. It was an exceptionally
really
well done book.
Yeah.
But what happened after that is exactly what we're seeing today. And that is when someone else decides what truth is and they control the information stream, they can make everything that says the opposite disappear. And that's exactly what happened way back when. As soon as the books of the Bible were discovered, or not discovered, but decided on, everything that wasn't in that box was destroyed.
Yeah, all other narratives,
people were killed, libraries were burned,
yeah,
etc., to destroy the competing narrative or counter narrative.
That's right.
And here we are today, still fucking doing the same shit.
Still.
So let's get our finger out of our proverbial rear ends. Okay, let's pull it out.
Don't hold back, Kevin.
Recognize the patterns. And the idea here too is that every tyranny starts with a certain set of patterns.
Yeah.
So if you want to live in that, and you want your kids and their kids and their kids and their kids' kids to live in that, you keep going in the direction you're going. But
and you have the choice to do that.
You have the choice.
Like,
100%.
go ahead if that's what you want.
No problem.
Yeah.
But we have to think, what if?
That's a nice idea. We've talked about that too. We need rich Canadians with hearts to step it up. Mm-hmm. Well, I believe, I have a sense, and I could be wrong, and I always stay open to the idea that I could be wrong, but I have a sense that there's going to be more and more of that happen, because I think that as more and more people do wake up and do start speaking up, thank you, Alex. That's very nice of you to say that. But I do believe that as more, because there is a transformation happening right now. I think you guys must be seeing it, right? There's more and more
especially
people waking up.
Especially if you're on social media.
Yeah.
I'm not, so I go.
I see it every day. Like I'm amazed at how many more people every day that just seem to be cluing in, right? That something's wrong, right? That at least they're questioning that they weren't questioning the last few years. So that's encouraging to me. But I feel it, right? More than anything, I don't just see it, I feel it. I feel these shifts happening. And I know there's a whole energetic thing that's happening to the planet and the whole bit. And I'm not an expert on that, and I won't pretend to be. So I won't go into that. But the shifts are happening. They're happening for the higher good of humanity. They really, really are. And more people are getting on board with it. So
we have to do our part.
Yes.
Right? To meet whatever's coming from the top down, we have to meet in the middle.
Yeah. So, energetically, I think is what you're trying to suggest.
Well, energetically too, yeah. And then if there is stuff, and
I do believe, I guess what I'm trying to say is, as more and more people start speaking openly and publicly about what they really think about government, what they really think about these, nefarious globalists, right, that are attempting to
if you're watching this and you're a politician, I want you to ask, what if everything that I have been led to believe in the profession of being a politician, if that is a profession, right? What if everything I have been, why do you have to toe the party line? Yeah. That is such garbage.
Yeah.
Right? What if everything that you have been told to do, right, has a nefarious agenda? If you're governing by agenda, and that agenda is not human freedom and prosperity for people, if you're in a minority situation as a government, your biggest responsibility is to those that didn't vote for you or didn't vote at all.
This is Kevin's philosophy.
That's the biggest responsibility you have.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting there thinking you're going to rule and control mind by agenda, the time for honoring yourself will soon be at an end.
Yeah, like we need to really get beyond this whole political structure.
We've got to move past it.
Right? It's not working. It has never worked, actually, probably.
Take me to your leader.
Yeah, we have.
What do you do, folks?
Leaders. So,
take me to your leader.
And I hate to tell you guys, I know some people on here probably believe that Pierre Poilievre is the answer. No, he's not.
He's right in the back pocket of Klaus Anal Schwab.
Yeah, and politicians have learned to read the script, right? So they're given this script to pretend to play this role, to be the outlier, to be the one on the outside saying the things against the government and like I'm against what they're doing and da da da. But then they get in there and they just
it's the bait and switch for the public, and it's all theater.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple.
Yeah. So we need to have. If government per se is going to continue, to be relevant, then we need people who are willing to step in and be the independents, and people to say this can't be about a 2-party or 3-party system.
Even in transition.
I know, I agree with you. The question is, why do we even listen to the theater? Because that's all politics is a big theater, right? We're
voting for the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, but it's
why fucking vote for evil? Period.
Yeah, it's just a theater.
It just is. Why did that statement ever come to be? Right? Because it's not an election. It's a selection.
Yeah.
It's a selection. And you ain't the one selecting it. Yeah. It's already decided, folks.
It even happens at a municipal level, the selection idea, like even small towns. I hate to tell you, I come from a small town in New Brunswick. You witnessed this
at your dining room table.
I did. I witnessed these things, and I know. But the reality is I'm putting these dots together now in my adult life as I have woken up and become more aware. I'm seeing the pieces of the puzzle come together to make the picture so much more clear about what I experienced as a child, right? In that little town. So trust me when I tell you, even at the smallest, lowest, I guess you might say, level of government, even in tiny towns, it's still all the same. Yeah, and they select them. I witnessed that happening, sitting around the dining room table, selecting who was going to run next, So, yeah.
So some of the other dots, I just want to throw this out as an interesting occurrence, is some of the other dots that sort of have come into our collective awareness, or our awareness anyway, is we were on the west coast of BC, way up the coast, 600 kilometers north of Vancouver. It's a little tiny island, 85 people. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure on our first show, like you talked about this, but you were at the cafe.
Oh, no, I didn't mention that.
Oh, you were at the cafe. Yeah, and this would have been like July of 2019.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell the story since it happened to me?
Yeah.
I was down at the cafe with my dog, Lucy. She's a beautiful golden retriever. And so
the thing about this particular location, it was a marina.
Yeah, like it's a stop-off point for people that are yachting to Alaska.
Cruise ships and charter ships and stuff would stop there.
So anyway, I was down there. I remember this. It was in July of 2019. It was a summer day, and we were down there. And of course, everyone is always paying attention to Lucy because she's beautiful, right? Oh, she's such a beautiful dog.
So that's how conversations start.
That's usually how conversations start. So long story short is this. There was a man there from Vancouver area who was on a yacht, and they had stopped there.
He was the crew on one of the yachts.
Something like that. But either way, he was on the yacht, and we got chatting. And
about things.
Don't even know how it went there, but this is our lives. This is what happens when we meet people. There's always significance, almost always significance. So anyway, he proceeded to tell me that he said, well, did you know that there's an island over here? And I won't say the name of the island, but there's an island right over here that...
No, it's Ocean Falls.
Okay.
Is 30 miles from where we were. Now, Ocean Falls is a very interesting kind of place because it has a dam there, a big hydroelectric dam.
Yeah.
And it feeds power to that part of the coast.
Yeah.
And
it's not an island, sorry. Ocean Falls is not an island.
No, it used to have 10,000 people. Houses, businesses, hotels, all that stuff. Now there's like 50.
Literally, it was practically overnight.
Like it was super fast. Right? Like it's just done.
Yeah.
There's this massive Bitcoin mining facility there because the power is like right there.
Yeah. So
anyway,
he
mentions this place.
He mentions this place to me and said, well, I have a friend who's friends with Rupert Murdoch.
And if you don't know who that is, look him up.
Yeah, he's the owner of all that
kind of
Fox
a billionaire
News,
kind of guy.
Fox Media, whatever. Anyway,
he owns other property up that coast too.
He said he told me that Rupert said that, and this is what happens, okay? All the billionaires in the world were told, all these elites, okay, were told by whom?
Question
Who
number
told
one.
them this? But anyway, they were told to make sure that they have a place for their families to go to in case they need to escape. Because and this was, remember, July 2019, before anything happened with the COVID, the pandemic, they were told to make sure they had a safe place for their families to escape to, and friends that they love, people they loved, to escape to, in case the virus that they were going to unleash on the planet got out of control. Because they weren't sure if they were going to be able to control what they were going to attempt to do. And the ultimate goal of what they were going to attempt to do, the ultimate goal, this guy knew all this, okay? He was telling me all this. I was going, well, that's weird. But anyway, was to take out half the population, was to reduce the population of the planet in half with this attempted release, okay? So
fun times, folks. Yeah. Get your popcorn.
Yeah. So that was like not cool with me, of course.
And then you kept getting
I kept getting these intuitive hits months later. Impending doom. And I didn't know where it was coming from. And Kevin would say, well, what's impending doom? I don't know. I just know that we need to get off this damn island. Like, we got to get off this island. So and he kept saying, but can we wait 6 more months? Like, can we wait a few more months? I've got things to do. Like, we got, blah, blah. And I was like, no, we need to get off this island. Impending doom.
So beginning of February,
we left.
7th or 8th, we left the island.
We left quite quickly.
February 2020.
Yes. And
arrived in Thunder Bay, and lo and behold,
the lockdowns happened. Right?
Lo and behold.
So again, for me personally, that's where
random occurrence at a cafe in the middle of the BC coast.
Yeah. So I mean, but and again, that helps us put other pieces together of things that we knew in the past too, as well. So the thing is that I had to learn to listen to myself, and when I would get these intuitive nudges, right, I had to listen to it, and so we've learned to both listen to it, and it served us well. Because can you imagine having been stuck on that island, that entire lockdown? Nope. That would not have been good.
That's 0 on the fun scale.
Yeah, that would not have been good. So anyway, yeah.
So that's just a story.
Did happen. That
so
is a story.
these are things that just happened to us and whatever. So
yeah,
that's we have a different perspective on things in terms of what's going on, and
we're very optimistic.
Sure.
I don't know if we're putting out that in, if you guys are getting that impression,
but it's just a discussion of what is. Like, we know that this is like shenanigans are there, and they've been there for a long time. It's just our consent to the shenanigans. So we have to get to a point. We have to work on our own shit.
We do have to.
We have to work on our own shit. And thirdly, we have to work on our own shit. So when we do those 3 things,
well, the reason
and then go look in the mirror.
Yeah.
We look in the mirror to see where the solution lies.
The reason that is so important, though, and I mean, this is something that Kevin and I do. We do work with people to help them let go of long-held, deeply long-held emotions. So the reason that we need to do that work for our own personal growth, of course, but is also so that we do not get lost in the fear and the threats that could come in the future from these government entities or from any of these nefarious globalists, whatever. Like, there's lots and lots of
that may not even happen.
And
in our world.
I know. Like, we just don't fall for that stuff. But the reality is you've got to be resilient. Like, there's got to be some emotional resilience there to, like, you got to have balls of steel. You do. Like, I don't care what anybody says, but you got to have, like, you got to be strong to stand your ground, you know, to stand on your values and your
So there's a question,
right?
Are there any lawyers involved? Now, I want to be very clear about the legal system. Legal system is a completely other animal and language that's designed to keep the lawyers busy and paid. So we have to be clear as to whether or not those folks, and I'm not saying that there are all lawyers are bad, please.
Nope.
There are really good lawyers out there, but they're
trained
trained in a system that's not designed to help people.
No, it's not.
It's a strictly adversarial system.
Yeah.
That's it.
We've been in it. We get it.
Strictly adversarial.
It sucks.
So
yeah,
we will need a solution for that as well.
Absolutely.
How do we resolve disputes between living people? How do we do that?
Yeah.
So, you know, someone punches someone else. How do we deal with that?
Yeah.
Is this an issue of needing to arrest for assault, et cetera, like that? But those discussions we have to have as well in earnest, because it's part of the puzzle.
We agree. Mediation really needs to be first and foremost, honestly. There needs to be
a process in place to be able to handle disputes. Absolutely, 100%.
The thing too, though, with mediation is you've got to have willing parties.
People have to be
right?
willing.
People have to be willing to talk things out. And when you have one party that is willing and the other party isn't, what options do they leave you except to go through the court system? And it's quite sad, honestly.
See, this is about a change in mindset.
Yeah.
This is about changing this to affect what's going on out in here, because we need to understand that this entire system has been designed to ask the questions of, how is this not my fault?
Yeah.
How can I shirk responsibility for something I may have done?
And transfer responsibility over there.
Exactly.
Right.
So when we start taking responsibility for ourselves, then we can come to the table in a position of power as opposed to a position of disempowerment.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you pay money to a guy that's supposed to represent your birth certificate and your passport, right? Not you. Because that's all it is.
That's what it really is.
So when you say, I'm going to take responsibility for that, fine.
Yeah.
Then we can have a meaningful discussion, as long as both sides of whatever occurrence happened. Again, this is something that's a big animal, but I believe humanity's up for the challenge. I
do. And here's what I'm just going to propose something, because Alex asked the question, are there any lawyers on board? Well, yes, there have been people like Reimer Fulmich and, you know, people like this that are aware, right?
That are trying to do what they can from their position and their strengths and their knowledge of things.
And I think too that, and I've tried to say this several times during this conversation, and I never did finish my thought. Here's my thought. I believe shut your mouth for a minute so I can talk. I believe that as more and more people do wake up and do realize the truth and do start speaking out, let me finish my thought. Don't interrupt me. That there will be more and more people feel like it's kind of like they have the permission, right? They're being granted the permission by their fellow human beings to also step into that role, to also speak up, and also become more active in making the change. Because the reality is this, whether we want to admit it or not, it's true. We are followers. Okay. Generally speaking, humanity, we are followers. Psychologically, this is what happens. They've proven this over and over. Studies after studies after studies. It's true. Okay. And we all witnessed it in our own lives, right? Look how people followed along during the COVID scam, right? So the thing is that we are followers. So the more people start moving in this direction, away from the crowd, so to speak, the more and more people do that, the more people are going to start going.
What's going on over there?
Direction.
What's happening over there?
Right?
I want to see what's going on over there.
That's just the truth. That's just a fact, right? That's not a conspiracy, by the way. Conspiracy theory. It's just a fact. So that's why I think Dari is right. It's about action. It's about action. We have to actually be doing something. we are not just talking about this, okay? We do need to talk about it more and more because people need to understand.
And more people need to talk about it.
Yes.
This needs to be coffee shop discussions.
It does.
This needs to be water cooler discussions.
Yeah. And let's think about this. I'm just going to throw something out there.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I am going to throw something out there.
Do I need another cup of coffee?
No.
Okay.
What if...
Ooh, what if question.
What if even just a half, we'll say, a half of the amount of time that your average human is sitting in front of a screen watching Amazon Prime or Netflix TikTok videos or whatever the hell they're watching. Because let's face it, we all waste time on it. We do. Like, let's just be honest about it. We do. So what if we took half that
Unless you're
time?
watching the show, of course. Absolutely.
Then that's okay. That's okay, because we're talking about good stuff.
Thought.
This is good stuff. But but what if we took half of that time and dedicated half of that time that we waste on a daily and weekly, monthly basis? Because we got to get honest with ourselves. We're all doing it. I catch myself doing it and I'm aware. And I just go, whoa. And I'll just put my phone down and go, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay.
Till the next notification comes in.
Honest to God, you're terrible.
Who's talking to you now?
Okay. You are bad.
I know.
Jeez.
But it's true. I think this is part of taking responsibility, and we have have to look at ourselves.
Just half. If we could just take half back, like let's just reclaim half of our time, right? That we are spending watching other media, okay?
And be the creators.
And be creators instead, right? And get active in because there are groups that you can get active in online, okay? Right here in this country, right here in this province even.
And we're going to bring them together.
And around the world. So they are already working on this shit behind the scenes, okay? Like this is happening, all right? So we can get you connected. Just private message me and I will get you connected into these groups. The thing is what if we just took half our time? Just half. You don't have to give all of it up. You can still watch your Netflix shows and like, I don't know what they are because I don't watch them, but I know there's some pretty decent ones
online.
Out
everything
there,
is
I'm
monitored.
sure.
You know what? That's fucking good because they know that there's now a movement out there.
Yes,
towards truth.
Online.
It's towards truth and it's towards solutions.
Yeah.
And guess what? I think they understand that they're not part of those solutions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they can keep doing what they're doing and just sort of fizzle away.
I agree. People will generally feel better if they feel like you're actually doing something about it.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to create an inner conflict in us if we understand something's really desperately wrong. If we see the way that things are going, which is not good for humanity, and we sit back and do nothing. It is just not in our.
The reason all this works
is
because good people sit back and do nothing.
When we become the problem, we become a big part of the problem because we sit back and do
someone else
nothing.
Will do it. Someone else will do it.
Yeah.
Someone else will do it. Someone else has got to be doing it. How come I don't see someone else doing it?
Yeah. I agree. There's a lot of value in going local and in person, especially nowadays. I agree with that, especially after what we've gone through over these last 4 years in particular, where people have been very pulled apart and very disconnected and, 6 feet distance between each other. Is it 6 or 3 or I don't know, whatever the hell it was.
Guess why that number was pulled out of their ass. Take a wild guess.
There was a very nefarious reason for that.
There was a very specific reason.
Because once you get out of that sort of
6 feet is the
what's the word I'm looking for?
Energetic bubble
that
is around every human being.
Yeah. Like your aura.
And our energies interact. So the closer we are, the more they interact.
When we are 6 feet apart, they determined that is the actual distance we need to be so we don't feel each other's energy. So here's another challenge, okay? Because I'm the hugging queen, okay? I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger. And one thing that I will say that being in Mexico for all the time that we were there, that I loved about Mexico, here's something I didn't love everything about Mexico, but here's something I loved about Mexico. People greet each other on the street. People greet each other when they're walking through a grocery store or in the restaurant or what have you. It's always buenos dias, buenos tardes, which is good afternoon, good morning, buenos noches, which is good evening, right? If you're in a restaurant and people are getting up to leave and they see you sitting there eating your food, they'll say provecho, right?
Which means enjoy.
Enjoy. Right?
Like there's a personal dialogue that goes on.
At least in the part of Mexico where
that is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah. So maybe it's because it's still smaller. Maybe it's because they're still a little more traditional in that part of Mexico.
But it doesn't matter.
And that's great that you do it here. And this is what I was going to say. Here's my challenge to you folks, okay? Because even now that we're back, and we've only been back for a couple weeks as of today, actually, 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 weeks, I believe. I believe it's 2 weeks. Anyway, I make a point to make eye contact with people when we're walking down the aisle of the grocery store or wherever we are. I try to make eye contact and I will say hello. And a lot of times people don't know what the hell to do with it.
They're shocked.
They're just like, hi. You know, if I see people that I know in a store or anywhere out in public, I'll give them a big hug, right? And I've even said to people, shaking hands, what the hell is that? Like, I don't hug, right? So that can light up someone's life just to give them a hug.
So the small little things, the small things that we can do as humans to other humans help shift the energy.
Yeah.
And it could be the very thing that someone needs that day in that moment to make their day.
Because I'll tell you what, too many people in this world, and I've been a therapist for the last 20 years, okay? So I hear all the sad stories. I feel all those emotions that people are dealing with. I see the loneliness. Oh my God. We are a lonely, lonely, lonely race of beings. We truly, truly are. And I believe, I do feel strongly in my heart that a way that we can reduce suffering on this planet just doesn't cost anything, right? Is to acknowledge one another. Because if we can look straight in someone's eyes and say hello to them or good day to them, or give people hugs that are completely unexpecting it, that's the kind of healing that we can start. That's the kind of changing of our interaction with one another that can literally make a difference in people's life. Like, we don't know what kind of a difference that can make, right?
Well, we really know it does.
We know it does.
We know it does. We're going to keep doing it because they've tried to divide us.
Yeah.
So now what we're doing is the other way. We're doing it the other way. So these are the challenges.
So here's the thing. If they want us to be more separated, more divided,
whatever they do the opposite.
Whatever we'll say government, whatever
control mind people.
Yeah. Whatever they are telling us to do, here's a pretty good guide. Do the opposite.
Because we know it's coming from an agenda.
It's coming from an agenda. It doesn't have our best interests in heart. It doesn't have our well-being in mind. So whatever they are telling us, just generally do the opposite.
Well, think first.
Well, think, of course.
Think first. Like, for what purpose?
Yeah.
You know, ask this question. For what purpose?
Yeah.
Right? Someone says, wear a mask. You say, for what purpose?
For what purpose?
For what purpose?
Like, can you tell me? And most of the time,
and then if you keep asking for what purpose, you're going to find the right answer. You will. Well, it's because it protects grandma. Like, for what purpose? Because of the virus. Is there a virus? Like, keep asking questions. Ask questions. It's pretty simple because the information's out there. And here's the other interesting thing about a question. Whatever question you have in your mind at any one time, and this is a little bit of a kind of an idea here, is that there cannot be a question that exists in the ether without the answer already being available.
Yep. Now I'm gonna.
That one.
It is true.
The answer's there.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the question,
yeah.
but the question cannot exist in your mind without the answer already being there.
Oh, it's on your side. The cat.
What?
The cat moved the curtain.
Anyway,
There's a little bit of light.
we're like an hour and a half.
I do want to address one more thing before
Oh.
we stop. Okay, because yes, we are an hour and a half in, so we need to stop. But
That was a
Gail,
long
my
coffee break.
sister, she said it's over. LOL. Now I expect that when you say it's over, you're probably suggesting that the mask wearing, the COVID bullshit, all that stuff. Like, I know some people might be asking, well, why are we talking about it if it's over? Well, here's the thing. Okay.
It's about the damage it left in its
But it's
wake.
not over.
It's not over.
Okay. It's not over so long as the people that are behind having done all that are still in charge.
Running the show.
That are still running the show. It's not over. It's just we're in between events, right? We're just sort of maybe in a little bit of a lull right now until
so don't
the next big tragedy or the next big event.
Keep your
right?
guard up.
Yeah.
Keep your guard up.
Be hyper vigilant.
Like hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
Ask the questions.
Yeah. It's not over.
If you think COVID was real and still think it was real, do the investigation. Do the deep dive into truth.
Yeah.
Because the answers are there.
It was real.
We have
as
a friend.
Vaccine bioweapon.
We have a friend.
It was real.
Who is one of the few people that's qualified on the planet.
Yeah.
Not just qualified in like Thunder Bay or some other little place, but on the planet to determine whether or not chemical, biological warfare has been used on a population. And his capacity in that has been used in times of war. And he says, without a shadow of a doubt, the Jabba Jabba is a bioweapon.
Well, there's a patent for it.
Right, but it's a bioweapon.
As a bioweapon.
He has made that determination because he's qualified to do that.
Yeah.
So if you think
that's something else that we could add here too.
If you think that's yeah, I was just,
that's conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory,
It's
and
not,
I was doing it for grandma
unfortunately.
and whatever. Guess what, folks?
No.
It's done by agenda. So we're looking for the link here right now. This is something that everyone has to see.
Yeah.
It's a deposition
If you haven't already.
in front of the European Parliament.
Yeah.
It's a short deposition. This is the most downloaded video in
Yeah.
human history
Yeah.
of this deposition, and that's right from him.
Yep.
So
It's been downloaded. Here's the good news about this. It's been downloaded over a billion times.
So that's super
So that
encouraging.
tells you how many people are waking up,
Mhm. Looking for truth.
looking for truth, seeking
It's
answers.
looking for truth.
Yeah.
Find it. It's there.
Yeah.
Don't just parrot what some clown on TV says.
Yeah.
Look for the truth.
Yeah.
And if you do that a big investigation and you find out that, you know what, yeah, there's no nefarious, then go with that but do
If
the
that
work.
feels right. Yeah.
Do the fucking work.
Yeah.
Don't, someone told me that. So no. So,
But we are trying, we're trying to educate for sure. We're trying to inform.
do the work.
We're trying to do the work, right? We are doing the work.
We're trying to help the trajectory of learning
Yeah.
to be a little less for folks.
We're trying to help humanity
Mhm.
because we know that there's a lot of people who won't
Okay.
do the research, right?
We have to stop. My cat is after the treats, and they're about to go all over the floor.
He is actually not waiting for you.
He's not. He's
Did
like,
you already give him treats today?
I gave them livers. Yeah, this is like a self-serve treat.
Holy
Feast for the cats here,
jumpins. I wish we could show that because that's kind of funny. But anyway.
Diesel, get
Okay,
down.
so we've been talking for an hour and a half and we need to shut the hell up now and get
Do the
on with
work.
our day. We
Do the work.
do have things to do.
And
Excuse me.
remember, control mind people, are not your savior.
No.
Go look in the mirror.
No.
No,
He's doing it.
He missed the treats.
He's
That's
trying
good.
to do it. No, they're not your
They're
saviors.
not your savior.
Look in the mirror. You are your own saviors.
Mhm.
And collectively, humanity can do this. We can do it together. You got to believe it. You absolutely got to believe it. And we just got to do it. We got to do it.
We are the wild card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe we can.
Yeah.
So have a great day.
Yeah.
Refill your coffee, whatever you're going to do.
Drink lots of good water. Good water.
Oh, and that's the other thing is that this particular show is sponsored by.
Are we talking about that right now?
Kangen.
Okay.
Or Enagic.
Yeah.
Water. This coffee that we have is made with Kangen water.
Makes a huge difference.
If you want to know more,
it really does.
let us know.
Yeah.
But it's highly alkaline.
Yeah.
Micro clustered, so it's restructured. And it's antioxidant. All coming out of one pipe.
Yeah.
So
it's good water. It's all we've drank for 14 years, so 15 years, something like that.
So if you want to know,
anyway,
ask.
Yeah, you can ask. Like you have to understand that we have to support ourselves, right? So yeah. But anyway, okay. So we're gonna stop talking now, right?
I am.
Okay. Thank you
everybody.
Everyone for watching, and please share because
the best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come, and we need more and more and more humans to step up.
What if
we got to come together? We got to unite.
Yeah, start thinking.
Yeah,
for ourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Episode 5.
Tuesday?
We'll see.
Probably Tuesday.
We'll see.
Yeah. See ya.
TTFN.